Hi, it's me, Jen. In an era where people are creating a bunch of content that is AI generated and very polished and perfect, I think it's really important to just send a note to all of my friends out there who might feel like that's not me. I don't feel that way. I'm feeling overwhelmed, stressed, pressured, whatever. Because we all go through seasons of that. So I want you to first feel like you're not alone, okay? The second thing I want to do is bring you a real practical tip because I've been there more than once. I understand how that feels, and I just want to remind myself and remind you guys of something that's so important. Sometimes people feel like, I need a best friend. We're all kind of enamored, or I'm seeing people enamored with Mr. Rogers. And it's fun to watch reaction videos about him because you see people that didn't watch him. I did. I grew up in that era of watching Mr. Rogers as a kid. And, I think at that time, there were a lot of people who just needed a friend and needed to feel like they had a friend. And so sometimes we're so isolated with social media, or we feel like we can't go out there and be seen because the real us doesn't match the one we present online. And so many people are so focused with what they're presenting online that they're forgetting that they're living an actual life, and they're kind of forgetting to do that. But when it comes to having a friend, you first have to be your own best friend. And I've heard that said, and quite honestly, I've cringed in the past. And I've been in the space of going, what does that mean? And how do you do that? Well, because I'm all about journaling, I thought I might share something. Sometimes I will write myself a letter. You can write yourself a letter that is like future oriented, where it's like, I see you from this point of view, I know what's coming and you're going to be great, and here's what it's going to look like in vivid detail. And I know a lot of people talk about that, but sometimes you can visualize yourself as you are right now and look at yourself through the lens of this, like if this were my friend, if this were somebody that I were going to talk to, what would I say to them? What would I write to them in this moment that they're dealing with right now? And so sometimes, what I just discovered, because I literally just did this, like I am doing what I'm telling you to do. This is not me just reading a book and like reciting concepts to you. This is me having lived this out for 30 years. And like I said in the last video, I've gone from circumstances. I get circumstances are circumstances, but it's how you ride those circumstances that really matter. So I've had like super high highs and super low lows, and the way that I've ridden those out, you want to talk about crashing out? I've crashed out. that is true. I have crashed out in the past. But really, when I was writing my letter to myself this morning, I was reminding myself, and that's sometimes what you just need to do, is remind yourself who you are, what you've been able to accomplish. And I'm like, if you pay attention to your thoughts, sometimes we will shift where we're wanting to look at something outside of us or someone outside of us as the source of the issue or the resolution, or why aren't they, or they should be, and that whatever. It's softer and easier on ourselves to do that. Like I've mentioned so many times now, the Abraham Hicks book, Ask and It's Given, the scale of emotions on that. Sometimes anger feels better than despair or hopelessness. So sometimes, like when we're reaching for good, we stick at like better than bad, And so I share that because it's like you you can write yourself these kinds of letters and find out what's rattling around up here, and what about that is kind of, maybe it shines a light on something that is problematic that you need to deal with. And one of those things that I find sometimes, and have found in the past, less often now, is defaulting to comparison or thinking about what someone else is doing. I was just with people who are speaking about this, and they were in the middle of some thick stuff, and there was a lot of focus and energy on the other parties involved. And it's like, I get that. It's easy to do. It's the default mechanism. But I just want to remind you that you have a ton of power. You really do. And if you take the time for just a moment, and here's what I wrote in my journal about this very thing. I wrote that first I started reminding myself of things that I've done, and like that I was okay, And then it was like I shifted into that I'm still a major player in the game of life. I'm still a major player. And if you think of a sports team, if you think of somebody out there on the field, they can't be out there on the field and concerned with someone sitting on the bench, or concerned with the ref, or concerned with what this person's doing, or that. You have to play your game. Play your position in the game the best that you can, and other players are responsible for their game play, how they show up on the field of life. And you really, as hard as it is, I mean, most of us have played some kind of sport or game to know that when you start concerning yourself with the other players is when you set yourself up for a loss. But if you go out there and you play your position really well, and you do the best job that you can, because you really can't do anything about what other people are doing. And it's a waste of literal energy. Like, literally. How many times are we saying how tired we are? If you think about, if I was thinking about this the other day, it's like if you have a tank of gas and you have one vehicle that you have to take to go on your road trip of life. You've got this one tank of gas. And each time someone else comes and says, hey, I need gas. They have a tank of gas. They have the same things to use in life. They have a gas tank. They have a gas can. They have a card they could go get gas. But they want to take yours, and you keep on looking over there and pouring gas. Your gas for them. And then you run out of gas and you're all upset at them. You're pouring the gas. So just to remind them, they have a gas tank. They got this. They can do it. Reminding yourself that you have a gas tank. And so you feel like you're out of energy, but really you're just pouring all your energy into looking at what other people are doing, looking what other people aren't doing. Your focus isn't on playing your game. And it really is that simple. And I know that while it's a simple and concept to understand, when you've been running a habit of doing this for a very long time, it can feel monumental to change it. But that's why journaling is such a great tool, because it sets your mind. I know what it is to think on purpose. I know what it is to get up day after day and choose my thoughts. Do they stay that way all day long? Do I stay aligned and make aligned decisions every day, all day? No. But when I start my day with a center point of, okay, I get to choose. I get to set the mood. I get to set the tone. at least I'm starting there, right? And I have that anchor point to come back to when the water gets rough. If you even, I love a metaphor, so bear with me on that. I just like a visual because I think it helps stick in your mind a little better. But when you're like out on the ocean in a boat, right? And waves start coming, and you're like, you could just be having a plain conversation, and then waves are coming, and now you're all focused on the waves. That's the same thing with life until you can kind of like even back out and stand up straight again. Then you can enjoy your boat ride again, is how it feels. This practice of sitting down with your thoughts, getting them out of your head and onto paper, again, not onto your phone, because you will just get distracted by more waves and you'll get off course. Sitting down with your thoughts, setting the tone for your day, reminding yourself who you are, what you've accomplished, what you're focused on, what you're doing, how you want to move forward. That right there is powerful stuff. I've lived too many years allowing other people's opinions of that, thoughts about it, way too much time and energy on that kind of thing. And don't let anybody tell you that you spending time gathering your thoughts, setting your mind, organizing yourself is a waste of time. It isn't. Don't buy the lie that you have to be super productive, super perfect, super anything except for super you. You know, just be the very best you that you can be. And I thought it was really important to just come in here and do a video like this that was just raw and real and honest, hopefully encouraging, hopefully letting you know, first of all, that you've done amazing things, you've done scary things, you've done hard things, and you've come out on the other side. You will do it again. There will be a future you. So I'm telling her or him from a best friend point of view, you've got this. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, you have this. And you're going to be better for it. I can say that with full confidence because, like I said, I've written in journals for 30 years. I've seen a lot of things. And I've ridden out lots of waves. And I know that it never feels like it when you're wobbling around on that boat out at sea. And when the game feels like you're about to lose the game and you're looking at other players and you're all out of whack. You just go out and you play your best game today. You just put your shoes on, put your uniform on, get out there in that game, and you give it your best today. And your best may not be the best you've ever had, but it's the best for today, and that's good enough. I thought someone needed to hear that, so I needed to hear that. I was writing myself that note, so I thought, why not share that note with you? Have an awesome day from a friend. Be your own best friend today.